Before we start today's episode, I would like to quickly read you our podcast disclaimer. The content in this podcast is for general reference and educational purposes only. It is not meant to be complete or exhaustive or to be applicable to any specific individual's medical condition. No information provided in this podcast constitutes medical advice and is not an attempt to practice medicine or to provide specific medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. This podcast does not create a physician-patient relationship and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please do not rely on this podcast for emergency medical treatment. Remember that everyone is different, so make sure you consult your own healthcare professional before seeking any new treatment and before you alter, suspend, or initiate a new change in your routine. Welcome to The Starting Gate. We're your hosts, Dr. Kitty Dotson
and Dr. Sarah Sheets,
two internal medicine doctors who spent years practicing traditional primary care. Over time, we realized something was missing from modern healthcare. A real understanding of how everyday lifestyle choices impact overall health.
We'll help you cut through the noise of the countless health influencers and their conflicting opinions. Because no matter who you follow, the basics of lifestyle medicine are at the heart of it all.
Welcome to The Starting Gate. We're your hosts, Dr. Kitty Dotson
and Dr. Sarah Sheets.
Today, we are excited to talk to you about this time of year and all the stress you might be feeling in this busy holiday season. So we really want to help you figure out how you can enjoy the season and not just feel like you need to eat and drink your way through the next few weeks.
Yes, we hope that you take away some new ways to approach that stress that surrounds the month of December. So you're not only leaning into cookies, wine, and eggnog to handle that stress. And it will help you, in general, enjoy the holidays more, because that's our goal, is to actually be able to feel that joy of Christmas.
Right. And sadly, this is actually the second time we are recording this episode.
It is. And the first one was so good.
It was so good. So we recorded this before Thanksgiving with Dr. Jennifer Degler, who is a wonderful psychologist here in Lexington. And, we're new to podcasting, and I apparently did not save the audio correctly because you cannot hear it at all. So I'm really sad that you don't get to hear Dr. Degler, because not only was she just full of so much wonderful information, like so much so that I thought I needed to pay her at the end because it felt like a private therapy session, but she also had a really soothing voice that just kind of felt like a hug. It was wonderful. So unfortunately, you get to hear our voices again instead, but hopefully we can have her on the hook to come back and talk to us another time.
Yes, but Dr. Degler, out of her kindness, said that she was okay with us redoing this show and giving some of her ideas about handling stress over the holidays. And it was just a lesson for both of us of not freaking out when a roadblock occurs, right? We talk about this to you all the time on this show. So we had to do it ourselves and just suck it up and redo this. So we will go over on how to think through the holidays in advance so you can prioritize that joy and what you actually want to get out of the holidays and minimize the rest, because sometimes it's just the amount of things that is causing the stress, and then tips navigating through some of those unhealthy ways that we tend to lean into when we're dealing with the stress of the holidays.
Right. And we know stress just has a huge impact on the body overall. It's not only affecting your mental health, but it affects your immune function, your inflammation, how you heal from wounds, your sleep, your energy, so many things. And we will go into more detail on that because we want to make sure everyone understands really what stress does to you. But today we really want to get to, we know you're feeling, just help me get through this month. And so that's what we're going to try to do.
And as I alluded to before, many times, because we are overwhelmed with the stress of this month, we tend to lean in some of those unhealthy habits of overconsumption of alcohol or overeating. Overspending is a huge one at this time of year. Just procrastinating because you don't even know how to get started with your giant to-do list, or overcommitting to things and staying busy and not learning those boundaries that can be very helpful in dealing with the stress that is being put on on us in the month of December. So getting us right into that, I think boundaries is a big thing in learning how to talk about that. So Kitty, can you give us a reflection on what we talked to Dr. Degler about and help everyone have some useful tools in learning how to cope with the stress?
It was so helpful because she really made me stop and think. And like I said, we recorded this actually before Thanksgiving. So I've had Thanksgiving to try out some of what she said and also have a child that just had a birthday. So we've gotten a few celebrations to try out some of these things. But what she really stressed was thinking things through ahead and really figuring out what's the most important part of that to you, and then make it as absolutely simple as possible. So when it comes to the holidays, there's so many things you can do. You might want to be making cookies. You might want to be going to look at lights. You might have a holiday party at work. You might have a holiday party with friends. You might have a holiday party with some other group in your life. And then you have a holiday party with your family, and it can be a lot. And then you might have other traditions that you've made to add to that. It can really be a lot. And so really taking some time to think about what are the 2 or 3 things that are really important to me that I absolutely don't want to miss each year. And then I would encourage you to talk to your family members about that as well, because I was thinking about all the things and putting pressure on myself with all the things that I wanted to do this season. I thought, you know what, I'm going to just stop and talk to my daughter about what actually is important for her, because some of the things that I think she might be really enjoying in the holidays, maybe she's not. And so she gave me 3 things that she really wanted to make sure we did. And surprise, it was not the 3 things that I thought she was going to say. And actually, some great thing is one of them was much easier than the other thing that I thought we had planned. So that's going to simplify things for me for sure. And one of the things, for example, one of the things was she did want to decorate cookies. And so typically I will make the cookie dough from scratch. We roll it out. I'll make the icing from scratch. And I don't know why I put that pressure on myself. And Dr. Degler said, don't do any of that. Get pre-made cookie dough. Actually, she said, don't even get the pre-made cookie dough. Don't even get the pre-made cookie dough. Just get the cookies and get some icing that's already made and ice the cookies. And that's it. And make it that simple so that you can actually focus on the fun it is to decorate the cookies. And you're not focused on, oh, I got to clean up this huge mess I made from just trying to make the cookie dough. And then you're already worn out before you even decorate them and you're not even enjoying that process. So that's kind of the example of this, is really thinking about what's important and then how simple can I make it? Like I'll say, we already tried to simplify Thanksgiving, simplify the cooking, because I enjoy cooking, but I also don't want to spend the entire holiday in the kitchen. And then I've missed out on some of the fun, or we don't have time to play games or anything like that because I'm cooking. So we simplified this year, and that was really helpful. But even in reflecting now, I think, okay, there's a few more things that we could simplify again and make this even better next year so that I have more time to just enjoy my family with me.
Yes, and I think that's a great thing to think about Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, is if, for instance, one of the things that you or your children, they just love being able to open their gifts and play with them, and they want you to play with them. Or say that family game night on Christmas night is also a big priority. Maybe that's a night that you don't try to put together a crazy meal and have all the cleanup and all the cooking, because that takes away from enjoying the things that matter the most on that day. So really trying to analyze these very busy days and pull out the things that are most important and then let the rest go.
Yeah. And if cooking is the most important thing to you, great. But I know we often say avoid these processed foods. These are the times that if you want to have family time and put 2 Stouffer's frozen lasagnas in the oven, this is when you should do it.
We want it to be simple so you actually enjoy this day that you've spent a month getting ready for. Like, heaven forbid, you spend all this time and energy to make this special magical day, and then you don't even get to enjoy it. And that is the whole purpose and what we want to talk about helping you with on this show today. So when we have so many different things going on, we don't necessarily think about how our lives have changed over the years, and we have to learn to reprioritize things. Been guilty of this. say before kids, my husband and I, we had specific Christmas traditions, right? That we always did. Then we had children. Then we ended up with 3 children, right? And we added on all these different traditions that we think are required because we've always done them and didn't take any time to reflect and think about how our life had changed. And we need to adjust over time because suddenly all these traditions we're trying to keep up with are too much. And they are actually taking away from the Christmas purpose, and we never have let them go.
So if you're going to add things, maybe think, okay, can I remove something this year and really feel like you're not spreading yourself too thin?
And sometimes this may require family discussions because they may include other families, but you never know, your cousin or your sister or your in-laws, they may be feeling the same thing and trying to keep this tradition going because they feel it's responsible as well. But as soon as you have the conversation, everyone's like, oh, thank goodness, I can drop that from my list.
Yeah, totally.
Everyone is feeling the same pressure this month. So be open, have conversations, and figure out what to prioritize. And sometimes, depending on your family situation, it could be that you want to have this, but you're with other family members, or you're visiting your in-laws, or you have family coming to your house, and you have to consider other people's expectations. Those situations, add another level of complexity. And one of the things that Dr. Degler really drove home for us and helped me personally was thinking about everyone really does not like to be caught by surprise, right? And so if there is a planner in your family who always likes to have the whole holiday mapped out, and that isn't in your wheelhouse, having that discussion with them and letting them know ahead of time what you're wanting out of your holiday so they don't make grand plans. And then in the moment, you tell them you don't want to do something. Well, that's also hurtful, and that causes conflict to occur during the holiday, and nobody likes that as well. And then you feel guilty and end up doing something you didn't want to do either. So really encouraging you to have these family discussions before Christmas about what Christmas may look like in your home.
Yeah, so if you are the person that's doing all the planning and you have every minute scheduled for everyone all the time, I would encourage you to actually call people, talk to people that are involved in your plans and say, what is important to you? Do you want to do all these things, or do you want to just do this and this and actually have some downtime? And their answer may be they want to do all the things, but that way everyone's on the same page. And if there's one person that says, I don't want to do this, I want to have downtime, then and you can plan for that. And if you're not the planner, it may feel harder for you to approach the planner, but just do it. If you need to send an email or text to start it, just do what you need to do to start that step. And it may take a few holidays to get to where you find a good rhythm, but go ahead and initiate it and just say, this is what we really want to prioritize for us in this aspect this year.
And just let's give an example. Let's just say Christmas Eve morning, that you have a really busy day ahead and you're with all your family and someone wants to make a huge breakfast and that's just not something that you're excited about. This is something you can talk to them ahead of time and let them know, hey, our family plans to just do something quick for breakfast. Don't want you to go through all of that time and energy when that's something that we're not ready for. And that just helps someone not feel offended when you're walking into the actual breakfast and saying, I don't want that this morning. And so setting that boundary ahead of time can help everyone plan accordingly. Just don't be afraid to speak up ahead of time.
Yeah. And if you're the one hosting, maybe you just say, hey, everyone that's coming, just know I am not going to make breakfast. You're on your own on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. So just really put it out there. This morning, from this time to this time, you're on your own and I'm not responsible for you. Or if you're the one coming, just say, our family really just wants to get out of the house and go to Starbucks or something like that, whatever it is that you want to do, and just be honest.
And having these conversations, one of the big points is remembering everyone has different ways of expressing their love to each other. And so maybe that big breakfast was their expression to you. So be sure to let them know how much you appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that way they don't feel like you just closed a door in their face. appreciating it and suggesting something maybe that you can adapt and do it differently helps everything go over much more smoothly.
Yeah, like if you have someone that, let's say, makes a whole bunch of desserts and you just don't want to eat all of those desserts, then you're already full from dinner and you don't want to eat all of that at that point. Maybe just say something like, oh, I appreciate that you made my favorite cookies. I love that you do that every year. I really want to enjoy them at a time where I'm not all the way stuffed and I can actually enjoy it. So I'm going to put those in this bag and take them home with me. And that way you've acknowledged to them that they worked hard on that for you and you appreciate it. And then you can take it home and enjoy it over time, or you can put it in the trash if you don't want to eat it. That works too.
Another situation that occurs very frequently when we're around our families for extended period of times are sometimes these difficult, uncomfortable conversations that you may just not like to have because there's such a wide range of opinions within your family, and it sometimes just steals the joy of the moment. Politics is an example of this, right? And if you know that there are a wide variety of opinions within your family and you have watched these conversations ruin holidays, really consider having a discussion ahead of time, letting everyone know we're going to set a boundary this year of not bringing up this topic. And whether it's your family group text thread or if it's an email, just providing that ahead of time so everyone is on the same page that this is still a raw moment, no matter what the discussion it is. We all have our triggers, right? That we want to focus on the things that bring us all joy. And doing this can help set everyone up for success because everyone knows what is expected of them.
Yeah. And then if somebody does bring it up, you can just be like, oh, Uncle Tony, remember I sent that email and just said, I was really hoping we didn't have to talk about that this year and we could focus on other things. And then go ahead and have another topic in mind that you can just quickly pull out of your pocket. Like, I was really hoping more that you would tell us about the trip you took this summer to X, Y, and Z.
Right. Those one-liners that you have ready to go can help you switch the conversation much quicker. And it is easier to stop the conversation when you gave everyone that boundary ahead of time.
Yeah. And just think about what things tend to get that person sidetracked. Like, do you need to ask about their best friend's health, or do you need to ask about what shopping sales they've been able to find? And just really have that in mind for how you can flip the discussion. And if the discussion still gets to a bad point and you're uncomfortable, just make up an excuse to leave.
Go for a walk, take time in your bedroom, go stretch. It doesn't matter. Just vacate the scenario so it doesn't escalate, because it's really hard to bring back that whole spirit when conversations like this go sideways.
We really want you to work on being present and appreciating the moment. So if you find you are getting overwhelmed, like you are trying to make some sort of craft or cookies or whatever, and it's just turning into chaos and you're just finding yourself worrying about what else is coming and are you going to have time to clean up before so-and-so comes over and what else do you have on the agenda and did I remember to get a present for the teacher and all these other things.
We all know these voices in our heads because they've been happening.
It's like, are you hearing inside my mind? Really try to just stop and take yourself away from that. And if you need to do something like just write a few sentences down to recenter yourself, if you need to come back and do a couple of deep breaths and just think about, what's right in front of me, do whatever you need to get back to the moment and try to put your phone away.
I did this last year where I did a social media fast it was like 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. around the holidays. It was phenomenal. And it was just great having that extra distraction. I didn't need it, right? It was not necessary. And I put my phone away. It wasn't by my side. There was nothing emergent. My family was right there with me, so I put it away so I couldn't touch it. And I really felt like I could be present and enjoy the moment so much better. So if you haven't ever experienced with this, we really want to challenge you to give it a try over the holidays this year.
Yeah, and Dr. Degler encouraged us to really take it even a step further because she was like, even if you have everybody leave their phone on the counter, they're still there. They're still going to light up. They're still tempting and visible. So she recommended really putting them somewhere that you absolutely can't even see. An opaque not a clear, an opaque box like a shoebox, and just have everyone put them in. And so not a basket where everyone can see their phone still in there, but something where they're actually hidden from you. And if you have someone that's maybe resistant to this, my thought was anyone that needs to leave their phone out to be the picture taker for the family, put it on airplane mode. That way, all they can really do is take pictures.
And one of my favorite things she mentioned about this family shoebox to use was to write on the top of it, what is outside this box is more important than what is inside this box. So if you did feel tempted to go grab it, it made you take a moment to pause and reflect and think about that before grabbing it, because there is a lot of psychological process here that is occurring. When everyone is able to participate and put their phones away, you feel less of a need if you actually don't visualize that phone. So making sure that it's not present in front of you and thinking you're going to resist that temptation, because it is so challenging. We know this when we are addicted to things, which many of us are addicted to our phones, is the visualization has to be removed to help you be successful. So one thing that Kitty and I want to encourage you, if you're able to do this, if you're able to get your family on board with this shoebox idea, post it on social media and tag us after your fast, not during this fast, after the fast, to show us that you were able to do this successfully. And we just want to hear how it changed your holidays if you're able to do this.
Yeah, and hopefully help you to be more present. And so another thing that sometimes you need to get out of sight for you is some of the holiday food that's around. And so just remember all of the fried foods, the sugary foods, and the refined grains, all of those are linked with more depression and anxiety. And we have multiple studies out there that show benefits even very soon after eating fruits and vegetables. And so we really want you to make sure that you're making room for the fruits and vegetables and not just the sugary treats that come around this time of year.
And planning some of those holiday spreads, just including some of those as an option. It's not taking away some of your favorite dishes by all means. I think those are important and are part of the celebration, but figuring out how to add those in so they are still a part of your diet and you haven't eaten just meat and cheese for 7 days straight.
And then don't go to the bathroom.
And then you can't go to the bathroom. We don't want that problem as well. So that could also be a motivator. There's lots of different tips in managing many of these Christmas parties and Christmas celebrations. And one of the ones that I always like to mention is thinking about your plate when you are at a potluck, making sure you have something on your plate that's going to give you some fiber and then something that's going to give you protein, and eating those things first before leaning into some of those heavier carbs and making sure we're not just having a full dessert tray for dinner.
Yeah, and having that protein and fiber, that's going to keep you from having huge rises in your blood sugar and then drops where you feel like you're crashing afterwards. And so it's going to help you just feel more steady throughout the day as it goes on. And really just think about which of those treats do you actually enjoy, because sometimes you just end up eating the desserts that are out there or the appetizers that are out there just because they're there, but really you don't even enjoy them that much. So really think about which ones do you enjoy, and those are the ones you want to make sure you eat.
I know at the holidays, my mother-in-law makes amazing cookies, so I prioritize those and realize that I don't have to try every single dessert that's going to be there. But I know the one that I love, and I'm going to make time for that specific treat. And I eat it mindfully because I want to enjoy this moment and actually treasure it, and not doing a lot of grabbing and walking and eating and talking because I'm not being mindful in those moments.
I'm actually enjoying just imagining you eating a cookie.
I eat cookies. I'll tell you that. Ruth Ann, if you're listening, you know that I eat your cookies at Christmas. She has a very specific one she makes me. But it is important to still enjoy these things that bring us joy, but it's learning how to have a balance with it so it doesn't become excessive. So we want you to remember this, because a lot of times when we get around the holidays, we just throw our hands up and think that it doesn't matter. I'm just going to do whatever. But you'll actually enjoy your holidays more more when you're keeping some of these things in mind, because you're going to feel better and you're going to have more energy to be able to do all the things you want to do.
Yeah, and you can always get a to-go box, wherever you are. And I heard you mention this before, and I've never done this before, but you said something about taking some of the holiday cookies and putting them in the freezer.
Yes. Again, Ruthine, you're getting a lot of credit right now. My mother-in-law always does this with cookies. When she makes large batches of cookies, she will have some out and then freezes some, and then she can bring them out at different times of the year later on. And so thinking about this, we always have lots of friends or family or neighbors that may bring some sweet treats to our house. We can't truly enjoy them all at the same time. It's just not possible. So considering putting some of those away for later so you don't end up overindulging, but you are able to still have them at a later time.
I think that's a great idea. Another thing just to help you with eating and then not feeling overly stuffed is to try to move after you have your big meals this time of year. So don't just plop down on the couch and watch hours of sports right after you finish eating a big meal. If you can, get up and get outside and take a walk. Or if you feel like that's rude to leave the table for a little bit, get up and help people clean up. There's always a lot to do with that. And so just try to move around for at least 10 or 20 minutes after you finish eating.
Outside of holiday foods and leaning into those at this time of year, we also have to talk about alcohol, because that becomes a big part of holiday celebrations. And we can overindulge in alcohol very quickly when we're going to mini parties all within a 1 month's time. And if you are someone that is working on your sobriety, think about prioritizing what events you should really be going to so you set yourself up for success. And because some social situations are going to be too tempting and you may need to avoid them.
Yeah, and no one has to know why you're avoiding it. You can just say you have other plans and move on. Or if it's something you really feel like you need to show your face, pretend you have something else scheduled for the same time, pop in, say hi, and leave.
Just like with our desserts, if there is a favorite Christmas cocktail that you have, remembering, hey, maybe I'm going to think about this ahead of time and I'm planning to just have one. And after that, I'm going to switch to having a sparkling water, or I'm going to make a cool mocktail, etc. Planning ahead will also help you be set up for success as well if you are in a situation where you feel like it could get out of hand pretty quickly.
Yeah. And if you have too many, then you might miss the funny comments that Uncle Tom says when he's had too many. So you want to make sure that you have a good memory during the holidays.
And it helps you from avoiding some of those tricky conversations that we mentioned earlier, because once there's too much alcohol, then keeping those boundaries then become even harder.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Another thing to just help you, if you're not going to lean into alcohol and sugar as far as managing your stress, what can you lean into? And exercise would be a big one for this. And it doesn't have to be your normal exercise routine of going to the gym or doing a Peloton or whatever it is that you do. It may just be getting outside again and taking a walk.
And it's a great excuse to go out and look at Christmas lights, right? Like, we're wanting to do things that are festive and are surrounding the holidays. So get everyone together, put on your coats, and walk around the neighborhood and check out all the beautiful Christmas lights. And that can help everyone still feel together and do something with the holiday spirit, as well as helping you move. Another one that's always great is finding those games that you can play together as a family that keep you active and moving, just so you're not feel like you're stuck on the couch for hours at a time.
Yeah, so you could do something like every time somebody mentions how cold it is, everybody does 10 squats. Or just you do 10 squats. That's fun too. And if you do need to just get away and you need an excuse, you can always say that, you need to get out and walk, that you've got a step goal that you're trying to meet every day and making sure, or, feel free to blame your doctor again and say,
we're here to be blamed.
Doctor said I had to walk every day, even during the holidays, and, just find a way to keep moving and help keep yourself sane.
And I'm going to mention this because the first time Kitty did it, I could not stop laughing. But If you're trying to kill two birds with one stone here, there is an app out there that you can block your social media, and you are required to do push-ups in order to get back on it. So if you want to really kind of work on both of these things at the same time, that is an option. Kitty has this app on her phone. I've witnessed her do it. You have to record yourself actually doing the push-up to get access again. Can you please tell our listeners what that app is so they can enjoy this?
Yes, it is called Clear Space, and you can pick whatever it is that you want to have your challenge. I picked push-ups because those are harder. You can make easier challenges, but it is pretty annoying. And also, if you're in line somewhere, you're not going to just bust out some push-ups in the middle of a store while you're waiting. So it does keep you from getting on social media and helps you to be more mindful. And it's also kind of a good reminder of, is this worth it? Do I really want to get on social media that's so much that I want to hop down and do a couple push-ups or not?
That it made me think of that when we were talking about push-ups. But I think that is also a great way to help with some of, if I'm going to get on social media, I've got to move in order to do that. Or, hey, this is not that important. I can put my phone back away and not hop on this app. So there's always great ways to stack habits. So that's a good one.
And another thing that can happen this time of year is overspending. And we know how expensive everything is these days. So really taking the time to think about, do you need to get presents for this person? Or is there a different thing you could do? I'm always relieved when someone comes up and says, hey, let's not do presents for each other this year. Let's just go out to lunch, or let's just, you could do something free. Let's just go take a walk. And I think almost everyone is relieved when one person brings that up.
Yes, I agree. Actually doing an activity together instead. That's a great one. It's like, oh, why don't we all go ice skating or skiing or doing something else during Christmas break and spend that money there so we can enjoy something together and make a memory. And it helps you keep the cost down as well. Something that we've done within my family is considering doing a white elephant or drawing names, so you're not having to buy gifts for everyone. You can still take part of the joy of giving and opening gifts, but it decreases the overall requirement in order to do so.
Yeah, and that kind of thing not only saves you money, but it also saves time. So you're not spending hours opening gifts, which can really get old, and I think kind of take the joy and surprise out of it and leave you time to do some other things like some games.
There's always so much fun in a white elephant. I love stealing the gifts and shaking it up. It just makes it fun.
And that's really what we want to encourage you to do, is to try to remember that this is the time to be thankful and enjoy the people around you and have fun. So try not to just sit on the couch and watch TV the whole time. Really try to think of some ways to get to know each other better. And I'll tell you one thing we did at Thanksgiving is I asked my parents and my great uncle just what were the big things that came out technology-wise in your younger days that really changed things for you? Because I think of all the things that have come out just since I've been alive. And what was funny, actually, was that they couldn't think of a lot because they were like, well, there wasn't a lot of technology that came out. It was like the color TV. And just think about questions that maybe you have for your older relatives or that might be interesting for your kids to hear about from the older relatives, and bring some of that up and kind of shift the focus and have more fun.
I always like leaning into anything that can make us all laugh and try to get everyone in that mindset, because we all feel better when we're laughing, right? Like everyone enjoys that. And I have to say, some of the best memories of my entire childhood were on Christmas evening when my family got together and we played games. And to this day, I can remember laughing so hard at my grandmother trying to do gestures and some of the things she would do, or Pictionary games. It was so much fun. And I remember that much more than some of the gifts I ever received at Christmas. So trying to think of those type things to make those core memories, and what are you doing to laugh this holiday season, that's going to also help you with managing some of that stress that has also come with the holiday.
Yeah, I think minute to win it games are fun. And last year at Thanksgiving, I found a Thanksgiving themed Family Feud, and I feel like I remember this better than anything else from last Thanksgiving because my brother-in-law was there, and he is from Miami, Florida. And the topic, this last question came up, and it was Thanksgiving desserts. And he was sure, like, he was like, let me go. I got this for our team. We're going to win this. And he was so confident. And then he said the most popular Thanksgiving dessert was key lime pie.
He's not from Kentucky.
We were all dying laughing. And and, that's really what I remember as opposed to was the turkey delicious. So really kind of think of those things to bring you together and that are going to make you laugh and have fun.
We know overall the holidays can be very stressful. So just take a moment today after listening to this show and do some reflecting on past holidays as well as planning for the days to come. And don't let the moment sneak up on you and you haven't been able to adjust some of these plans that you already know are going to be too stressful.
Yeah. And so just remember to think about what is it that's important. And then the other things, just let go. Just really try to let it go. And I'll tell you, this seems so silly, but since we got to do this with Dr. Degler a few weeks ago, I've had a few weeks to try some of this. But one thing that I did this weekend, and I had to just really let things go, is I usually do a second tree. We celebrate Christmas in our family. We have our main Christmas tree. And then I like to do another Christmas tree that is in the front window and make these candy cane stripes on some things. So anyways, I usually like to do that, but I've had a lot going on lately and I hadn't gotten it done. And I decided I was just not going to do it this year.
I'm proud of you.
And you know what? I thought like everyone was going to be so disappointed. No one mentioned it. No one cared. Yesterday I said to my daughter, I was like, I didn't get the other tree put up. And she's like, oh, okay.
You're like, oh, great.
So,
It are things like this, and I'll give my confession. The thing I had to give up this year. I previously, in years past, always had the matching Christmas photo for the Christmas card that we've done as a family. And leading up to the month of December, looking at the schedule, I could feel the stress of trying to find the outfits, figuring out who's going to take the photos, where am I going to do it, and I just let it go. I can still send a Christmas card. It doesn't mean I can't, but I had to let that one go, and it felt fantastic.
Yeah.
Next year, maybe I will do it again, but this year I knew that was the thing that I just couldn't do, and so I let it go, and I was really proud of myself.
Yeah, I'm proud of you too. I think like just what's so surprising to me is as I've been trying to let things go this year is just like it really doesn't matter. Once I let it go, it makes things easier and no one else cares.
Yes, that's why taking the time to understand what is the most important thing right now, reflecting on that and planning for it. That's how you can make sure that you have an enjoyable holiday.
We know the holidays can be stressful, and we're not saying you can make it stress-free, but if you can laugh through the chaos and just stay a little mindful, you can survive with your sanity and your waistband intact.
Let us know if you have any other questions about minimizing stress around the holidays, or maybe even some tips that you have for our listeners. But overall, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Please leave us a review on Apple or Spotify and share this with anyone you think could benefit. Also, we'd love to hear questions and ideas for topics on future shows, so please send us any of that information to contact@thestartinggatepodcast.com or click our link in our show notes and it will send us a message.
Yeah, we would love to know what you let go of this year and share that with others to try to help them in future holidays. And don't forget to check out the Better Health Library for any tools that may help you on your journey and help you with habit change to improve your health. So we hope you have a great holiday and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.